Hi guys, Brett here from Hearns Hobbies, and today we're going to take a look at the servicing and repairs of the X-Maxx, and in particular I'm going to do a rear drive shaft. They really get a hard time, the drive shafts, and they probably get under serviced and they're always in the dirt and the grime and the sand. So while I'm in there, I'm actually going to change the bearings in the hub as well, so I'm going to walk you through that. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, probably get the body off and get that out of the way, if I can, like so. Pop that on the floor, then I'll get the wheel off on the one I'm going to do. Okay, here we go, get this wheel off. So it's a pretty simple and straightforward repair here, and it's something that people probably don't do enough on their X-Maxx for the amount of abuse and torture that they get in general. So I'm going to use this wheel here as a bit of a prop, like so. Okay, so we've got it up, we can see my rear hub. I'm going to take my, what tools have I got here? I've got my 9 steps little toolkit here. I get my pliers, I'm going to take the clip off while I'm here. Now you want to try not to lose this little clip. You can just get in there with your pliers or your nippers and just get this big clip off, like so. Comes off pretty easy. Want to pop that to the side. We can get our wheel hex off. Again, just pry that up, it's just keyed in. Now Traxxas don't use any spacers or any such, which is really nice. So I can get that out the way. Then I've got my 9 steps 2mm hex driver here, and I'll get the top hinge pin out. And that's going to allow me to flop the hub over and get the drive shaft out of the back. Well, it's not actually a drive shaft in these, it's a CVD, constant velocity drive shaft. And we'll talk you through that in a minute. Get that hinge pin out the way. And it's a good chance to check that everything's nice and clean and straight. You can do that by rolling it on your bench or any hard surface. Make sure that it's not wibbly wobbly. All right, there we go. Hub's out the way and drive shaft in my hand. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is going to put the drive shaft to the side. I'm not going to take that apart yet. What I'm going to do now is get my big old brush and get in there and get rid of all the dirt and all the muck. Now, like I said, these bearings have been in there for quite some time. They haven't given any problem yet, but I don't want them to. For the cost of the bearing pack, which we offer here at Hearns, it's quite simple and cheap to replace them. Like so. I think it's a 27 by 20 by 4 inside bearing. There we go, it's different now. So I give that a brush. Now what the tools you need for this is a bit of a brush, a rag. Where did I put my rag? Oh, I've dropped it. Here's my rag. Giving in the hub a bit of a wipe, like so. And then while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead getting my bearing kit and get the bearings I need. Now you just do one bearing at a time and just go like for like. So that's the inner and that's the outer. And you can see here, this one's really crunchy and not very smooth. And the new one, of course, is silky smooth. And I'm using rubber sealed bearings on this because it's going to be getting quite a hard time, as you can imagine. And these just, you don't need any special tools, these just pop in nice and then you put them in nice and straight. And I take the opportunity now to use a bit of grease. And the grease I use for this is a XTR lithium grease. And I always keep that handy and use that on all my drive shaft and hub applications. It's really good on metal to metal contact. And put that in here. And what the grease does, it's not actually to lubricate, it's just really to get and fill up any. I'd rather have grease in any recess that's left behind than have mud and dirt and crap. So grease in there. Then we have our drive shaft. Okay, so I'm actually just going to put the car, move the truck up forward a bit. We're going to look here on the bench. You can see all the dirt now that's come off of it. And I've got my drive shaft. Okay, so I'm actually blocking the light with this big truck. Here we go. And it's as simple as popping out the clip here, and it should all come together pretty simple and smooth. Up out the barrel, Then there's no little Allen keys or retaining devices. It all just comes apart. It's retained by the bearings themselves. Then I go ahead and give it a brush off, get any of the loose stuff off, give the pin a good wipe over, making sure that there's no crud and dirt on there, and the little barrel too, making sure that there's no crud or dirt on there. It's all pretty good. Now the drive shaft itself is going to be full of it, and it's got assembly grease from the past. So I get my little gizmo tool. Where is it that I used just before? Probably pushed that away with the car, haven't I? Got my little gizmo tool here, a bit of plastic tool, and I'll just use that to scrape off all the muck and get that out of the way. Now if you do have an ultrasonic bath, you could use it in that, but generally just the cloth is as good as anything, and it shouldn't be hopefully too dirty anyway. They tend to flick out all of the mess. Get the rag in there, give it a good wipe over. While I've got the rag in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and wipe over the stub axle. Now, Traxxas are amazing with their anodizing of their stub axles and stuff. Even in such a big heavy 8S truck, to have an aluminium stub axle that doesn't wear out is really good. Check the drive shafts, give it a wipe over. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now we can start the reassembly. So I've got my grease here, go ahead and pop that in. Again, it's always better to use too much than too little. Pack that in there, and I'll put some on the drive shaft itself where the barrel's going to go in for the CVD. Wipe off the excess, and I can put that back in our tub. Easy. Go ahead and slide the barrel in. Like so. Get the handy little. Now it's as simple as sliding it in there, lining up the hole and putting the pin in, which is probably going to pose more difficulty than I wanted to on camera, but let's see how we go. Just sort of get it lined up. There we go. Comes in. You can see it's pushed a bit of the grease out. A bit of the excess grease off here we can wipe away, and it's as simple as that. And now we have a serviced and re-greased drive shaft. Again, you want to wipe away the excess, because if you don't wipe it away, it's just going to flick off and make a mess. Like so. But it's really good for keeping mud out. It's not going to keep dirt out. Dirt is going to get in there regardless, but we're well lubricated on all the metal to metal parts. Like so. Beautiful. So we can go ahead now, get the grease out the way, clean up a bit of my mess, and we can start the reassembly. Just bring the truck back over here so you can see it on camera. Like so. Exactly the same as we took it apart. We'll put that in there, make sure the pin's in nice and straight. Give the stub axle a bit of a wipe off. Go ahead and put my hex on. All slides together really nice, being Traxxas. Again, put the clip on. Just pop that onto my fingers. That is all on and secure. Give it a last little bit of grease to wipe off. Like so. Go ahead and put that in my out drive. Put the top arm on. Hinge pin in. And we are set. Put in the locking screw to make sure that we don't lose the hinge pin. These X-Maxx are great, the way that they hold themselves together and yet easy to work on. Simple as that. So now I've got to put the wheel back on, line up the hex and do up my wheel nut. I can do that on camera for you. Like so. Got my 17mm wheel wrench. And that is a really important part of servicing your X-Maxx, and your car or your truck will thank you for it. Tighten up that wheel nut and we are right to go and tear it up again. So it's as simple as that. I'm going to put the body back on the truck. Like so. And that is how we service and repair the rear drive shafts and replace the bearings on the X-Maxx. So I'm Brett from Hearns, and thanks for watching.